And welcome to our weekly media briefing and public health update with Montgomery County Executive Mark Elridge. I'm Lorna Vidili, Hispanic Public Information Officer. Thank you for joining us. And with us today is Mr. Sean O'Donnell, Deputy Chief of Public Health Services. And we have two special guests, Mr. Jacob Newman, who is the Director of the Silver Spring Regional Services Center, as well as Ms. Stephanie Helsing, President and CEO of the Greater Silver Spring Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Good afternoon, Mr. County Executive, number one.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. So I want to talk briefly about President Biden's decision not to run for a second term. I look forward to listening to the speech tonight. It's obviously going to be an historic address. I just want to thank the president for his service. And he inherited a nation in the midst of a pandemic with soaring unemployment, supply chain issues, as well as an insurrection incited by the former president. And he led a swift rollout of vaccines, brought science and good judgment back to the presidency. And I do say that the swift rollout of vaccines and the implementation of relief measures help protect our community's health and stabilize our local economy. The rollout of vaccines was one of the most important turning points in the fight we had against COVID, and getting them out into the community made a huge difference on its impact and on the speed of our recovery from COVID. I want to thank, today I think Joe Biden's been one of the strongest presidents for working people since FDR. I can't think of anybody who's done more for working people than he did. He's been a strong advocate for the needs of working men and women across the country, and in a historic moment, he was the first president to actually stand with striking workers on a picket line, and that's something I always appreciate. His leadership on the Inflation Reduction Act is particularly noteworthy. It lowered prescription drug costs and extended health care subsidies, and this is something that should matter to every one of us, anybody who pays taxes, because this kind of health care costs that we experience, driven by ever-rising prescription drug costs, really impacts even things like county budgets. And so anything that helps maintain control over ridiculous drug price increases or also help us meet our budget responsibilities and prevents us from having to raise taxes even more. So that was really impactful for counties. It's also reflective of his dedication to combat climate change and investing in renewable energy. Again, we've been able to use those programs here in the county to help support the work we're doing to advance the climate action plan. And the president's focus on creating a strong economy has yielded positive outcomes for working families. And through initiatives like the American Rescue Plan, we've seen investments in infrastructure, education, and workforce development that will surely bolster the economic opportunities for our county, but also for our nation. And I want to thank him for his leadership in coming to this difficult decision. It cannot have been an easy decision. And he continues to put the best interest of the American people first. And for that and so much more, I'm personally deeply appreciative, and I know a lot of other people are as well. Meanwhile, back on the more local scene, yesterday, Fortune magazine ranked Silver Spring #1 in an analysis of the best place to live for families. Every year, Silver Spring ranks high on this list, and this year we took the #1 spot, something that was highlighted and announced yesterday on the Today Show. I'm really proud of the recognition that Silver Spring continues to receive. It's home to businesses, both large and small, a mix of retail, restaurants, and entertainment, and families from all over the world live throughout our community. I also want to point out that Silver Spring is a lot different than when I first moved to Montgomery County. I grew up across the border, just across the border in D.C., until I moved to Silver Spring around 1960. And Silver Spring was pretty much the shopping center and economic center of the county. Wheaton Plaza wasn't even built then. This truly was one of the most urban places and one of the places where everybody came to shop. But it was not economically or racially diverse at the time, and segregation in housing and employment was the norm. And particularly in housing, segregation remained the norm until the mid-1960s. Today, it's a place that is culturally and ethnically diverse, and that creates an environment that fosters a sense of understanding and respect. And again, I was a teacher in elementary school in Silver Spring. that had very high level of diversity, and children grew up learning that anybody could be a friend. And I think that helps prepare them to be global citizens in an increasingly interconnected world. The ranking is based on the best place where multi-generational families are most likely to have access to great schools, highly recommended hospitals, affordable housing, resources for older adults, and a strong sense of community. For businesses, Silver Spring's recognition as the best place to raise a family is a powerful testament to the area's vitality and potential. Companies look to relocate or expand, and they'll find a community that values education, safety, and quality of life, key factors that attract top talent. A diverse population offers a broad base and a workforce with a wide range of skills, helps drive innovation and growth. Our community's focus on inclusivity and support for families creates a stable and welcoming environment where businesses can prosper. So I want to invite a couple of people who can tell you about how Silver Spring stands out, because there are two important points of contact for our residents and our business community. Jacob Newman is the director of the county's Regional Service Center based in Silver Spring, where residents and community groups go to receive help from the government. And it's also a place where we have lots and lots of space to accommodate meetings and performances. Stephanie Helsing is the president and CEO of the Greater Silver Spring Chamber of Commerce, and they help big and small businesses connect with each other and the Montgomery County Government. So I want to thank you both for being here. So let's hear from Jacob first and then Stephanie.
Well, thank you so much, County Executive. It is a great day to be in Silver Spring. Good afternoon, everyone. As the County Executive and others have mentioned, the accolade really confirms what many of us have known for a long time, that there's something for everyone in Silver Spring and especially families. We have a great education continuum from early child care providers all the way up to our beloved Montgomery College, and our public amenities such as parks, libraries, recreation facilities, resources for our aging adults, and availability of services for our most vulnerable residents are ever present and available in downtown and the surrounding area. Our arts, entertainment, and cultural vibrancy, with well over 600 events ranging from a weekly farmers market with fresh produce to festivals, concerts, film, and more. I just got an invite to attend a wrestling match at the Black Box Theater, so certainly fun for everyone. I know that Stephanie will talk about this in a bit more depth, but our tight-knit business community and nonprofit communities and the economic development opportunities all present wonderful sense of community for our residents, visitors, and those businesses alike. Something that drew me in from the first time I ever stepped foot in Silver Spring was the food. When you have a United Nations of people, you're going to get a United Nations of bites from all over the world, and also existing alongside award-winning burgers and tater tots. So really, regardless of your palate, there's a great restaurant for you to visit here. And I think, above all else, it's really what the county executive touched upon. It's a sense of community. People know each other, they care about each other, and they look out for each other. And so we encourage any and all to visit Silver Spring to experience firsthand what Fortune and others have confirmed, that we're certainly number one. And as you're here, we hope you are able to enjoy an event. We have our annual Jazz Fest coming up, our Thanksgiving parade in the fall. Every weekend from March until late October, there's a festival here, multicultural festival on Veterans Plaza. Say hello to the Urban District staff, our red shirts who are down here every day, keeping the area clean, safe, and welcoming. We give a special thanks to our public safety officials who are keeping our downtown safe as well. And for more information, you can always visit us at Silver Spring Downtown. It has all of our social media handles and the ways to subscribe to our weekly newsletter if you are a resident or in the surrounding area and want to learn what's going on from a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. So we're very proud, needless to say, and it takes a village to celebrate a village. So thanks, everyone, and I'll pass it over to Stephanie.
Great. Thank you, Jacob. And thank you very much, County Executive Elrich. It's really an amazing opportunity to be here today. As you've heard, my name is Stephanie Helsing, and I'm the president and CEO of the Greater Silver Spring Chamber of Commerce. We currently represent more than 300 employers, mostly small and minority-owned businesses, and a very large smattering of fantastic nonprofits in the Greater Silver Spring area and surrounding areas. First of all, wow, like this is great. Second, it's not by accident that Silver Spring was recently chosen as the most generous community by GoFundMe, and now the #1 place to raise a family. My family and I have been here for 27 years. My children went to local elementary school at Highland View, where I served on the PTA, the PTSA. I have sat on the Indian Spring Community Association board. My children are all graduates of Montgomery Blair High School, so go Blazers. And they've held multiple jobs in local businesses in downtown Silver Spring over the years. I could have told anybody about Silver Spring if they had just asked. And so to echo a lot of what has already been said, it's really the sense of community, the sense of belonging, and the sense of caring that I think underwrites everything that we do in Silver Spring. And I am really proud to lead an organization like the Chamber of Commerce, who is about making Silver Spring a thriving community, not only just a business community, but a place where people want to live, where they want to work, and where they want to come enjoy what so many of us already understand and love about Silver Spring. To be recognized for, offering local charm with the convenience of city life is exciting. And I think it's also validating for those of us who already live here and know this. This confirms that, our bustling local businesses, our arts and entertainment venues, limited, but not, limited to the AFI, the Fillmore and Veterans Plaza, our diverse restaurants, our breweries and wineries, our outdoor gathering spaces like the Veterans Plaza outside, our various regional service centers and our aquatic center, our community resources for elderly aging in place, as Jacob already mentioned, for the youth that we are really trying to prop up and bring, amazing opportunities to the underserved populations that really do need our support, to our overall diversity, where the article mentioned that the probability of two people chosen at random being next to each other of a different race and ethnicity is a whopping 73%. These are the reasons that continue to make Silver Spring the ultimate place to raise a family. And to echo the county executive, it is a strong testament to the area's vitality and potential. And he also stated in his statement yesterday and today that companies looking to locate, relocate, or expand will find this very inclusive community and the quality of life that Silver Spring offers to help attract top talent. And this is what the Chamber is all about, is building up that economic base so that we can all live the lives that we are able to in Silver Spring. It's a testament to the hardworking and dedicated individuals who chose to run their businesses here, raise their families, and continually reinvest in Silver Spring. We celebrate Silver Spring today for this award, but we also celebrate Silver Spring every day. And we'll continue to serve our vibrant, diverse, family-friendly community to make it the best we can. If anybody is interested in learning more about some initiatives that have created further partnerships and collaborations with the Chamber, like our Silver Spring Safety Alliance, you can go to gsscc.org, and it will tell you the story of how that came to be and how the Chamber is just generally involved in the greater community to continue to make Silver Spring the #1 place. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Newman, as well as Ms. Helsing. Members of the media, we're going to open it up for questions right now regarding Silver Spring. Please raise your hand and we'll call on you. All right, Suzanne Pollack, Montgomery Community Media. Good afternoon, Suzanne.
Good afternoon. I just wondered how you both would counter the reputation that crime in downtown Silver Spring is keeping people away and closing businesses.
Sure.
Can you take that? I'll let you take it first.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Over it.
I think we'd be tone deaf if we didn't hear that is a concern among some people. Whether they live in close proximity or elsewhere is a question that I keep on wondering. I see it a lot online, yet we have a vibrant and bustling downtown Monday through Friday that even expands more broadly during the weekend rather. And so, I want to appreciate the collaborative nature that our police have taken in, being present in the downtown and in our communities, along with partners like the Chamber of Commerce, like our district council member and council president, Vice President Kate Stewart, like many of the businesses themselves and residents really working together to address crime, which I think, though there may be some crime data points holding steady, I hesitate to say this, but we have seen an improvement in some of the crime statistics, certainly over the last 3 years and in the last year since, I've been in this role and been working with folks like Stephanie and our 3rd District police leadership. So, I think just like many urban areas all across the region and certainly across the country, there are challenges that we need to remain vigilant in facing, from serious crime to lesser quality of life issues. But overall, I think if you're down here visiting restaurants, visiting businesses, engaging in one of these wonderful arts and cultural events, you will find that it is a safe and welcoming place to be. It is, as Stephanie mentioned, a place that I bring my family and young children to on a regular basis so that they can enjoy and grow up with many of the things that our family values.
Jacob, yeah, I mean, I can echo a lot of what you've said. So more specifically, the Greater Silver Spring Chamber of Commerce, particularly in the last few years, has really started to lean into being a more active part of the greater community. And one of the initiatives that I was actually able to kind of be ahead of last year when I first arrived in this position was our direct partnership with MCPD called the Silver Spring Safety Alliance. So that was really, it's a neighbors looking out for neighbors program that's really kind of just a tool to what is already being done by the hardworking men and women who are on the ground representing the 3rd District. And it's the business community's way of saying, we understand that people are concerned. We're not dismissing those concerned, but we also want to be involved in the solution. And we want to allow people to understand that businesses are an important part of that solution and an important part of that conversation. We felt very confident in supporting the drone program, which has actually shown immediate results, and has done what a lot of people wanted to do, which is lessen the presence of police kind of on the ground, what they called chasing down bad guys, and actually allowing them to allocate resources towards walking through communities more and getting to know people who live in East Silver Spring or who live over off East West Highway in the Blair Department or who are downtown in a way that is a little bit more comforting. And so I feel like that's been a really, really big improvement. And then even at the state level, there have been a couple bills that the chamber supported that have had immediate impact. Car rallies, we all know that we've had a few of those off of University down in the intersection of Georgia and Colesville right below my office, and then some of them up in Burtonsville. And so with working with that group, we've already seen immediate change in people thinking that they can come to Silver Spring to hold their little donut rallies. And so I look at that as an improvement, as well as the reform of some of the youth criminal justice reform that we know is actually starting to be impactful. And then at the county level, the late night business safety plan is actually coming on board, I think within the next couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. But the late night safety bill, which actually created parity between a concern there were with hookah lounges to bars and restaurants, has also shown immediate impact. So these are all things that we worked with the county executive council on to make sure that we could address the concerns that people were having, and we could look at the real data and actually do something productive about it. So I feel like, again, not to dismiss what anybody is saying, none of my friends are cowed. None of my friends are staying away. We're all here. We have new businesses opening. I cannot wait, because by fall, downtown Silver Spring is once again going to be bustling. All of those doors will be open. We continue to have these fantastic opportunities at Veterans Plaza. So I think if people are willing to get rid of what their belief system is, and some people are holding on to old notions of what Silver Spring used to be, and actually come and experience it for themselves, they're going to see why we are the #1 place to raise a family.
Thank you, Ms. Helsing. Members of the media, any more questions regarding Silver Spring? #1. No more questions about this topic? Okay, Director Newman, as well as Ms. Helsing, you can remain on this call, or you can depart if you need to. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. County
Thank you very
Executive.
much for the opportunity.
Thank you both very much. I mean, I appreciate your comments and just want to, assure everybody, as has been said, we know there were issues in Silver Spring, but our approach has been not to pretend that they're not there, but instead to work very proactively and aggressively with the community, with the businesses to address the concerns. And I think that's what people see. They know the drone programs out there. They can see the increased security we put into Silver Spring. And I think those things have made people feel more comfortable. And frankly, our goal is to make Silver Spring unappealing to people who want to commit crimes. We want families to come here. We want to make sure people who have other intentions that they get the impression that Silver Spring is, well prepared to take care of its residents. And we're going to continue doing that. And speaking of Silver Spring, yesterday we unveiled the statue for Dominique Dawes in the Olympic spirit at the Rec Center in Silver Spring. And the 2024 Olympics begin on Friday. This week seemed like the perfect time to unveil the new sculpture paying tribute to Dominique Dawes. For those of you who don't remember, she's the Olympic gymnast, one of only 3 women to be part of medal-winning teams at 3 different Olympic Games. And it was wonderful to see her again yesterday. And the excitement at Silver Spring Recreation Aquatics Center was amazing. A lot of people know who she is. And I want to thank all the media and people who came out to be part of that story. Her own story started just like a lot of other young gymnasts. She began tumbling at the age of 6, didn't win her first competition until 9. She's a Silver Spring native and attended Montgomery Blair High School, but then moved up to Gaithersburg and finished high school there to be closer to her gymnastics program. Before she'd finished high school, she'd been part of the bronze medal winning U.S. national gymnastics team in Barcelona and won a pair of silver medals in 1993 World Championships. In 96, she was part of the team labeled the Magnificent Seven in the Atlanta Olympics. Not only was she the first American team to win gold in gymnastics, she was part of that team. She also became the first Black woman of any nationality to win an Olympic gold in gymnastics. Dominique's not only a native of the county, but she also has a business here. She's an entrepreneur. She's engaged in her community, and I was glad to hear that she's going to be expanding her gymnasiums to 2 more locations here in Montgomery County and even one in Howard County, and that's okay with us. One of the things that I talked about with the sculptor and with her yesterday was the intentionality of the sculpture. Dominique Dawes broke the color barrier in her sport. Prior to her, and it didn't change all at once, this was basically a white sport. And you did not see people of color participating in the United States. Children need good heroes and they need good role models, and seeing people who look like them and who had made significant accomplishments can help inspire children to believe that they can do great things. And that's what the statute in large part is meant to do. It's meant to be for children to come in there and see somebody who looks like them and has been, great at what she does, has been successful at what she does. And we believe that, great art could also be a source of inspiration. And I think this helps in that regard. Montgomery County athletes are also at the Olympics this year. And speaking of Olympics, we're well represented. We have 8 athletes at the U.S. on the U.S. Olympic team. On the swim team alone, Montgomery natives make up 3 of the 20 women on that team. We also have 2 athletes on the wrestling team, 2 on the track team, and we even have somebody who's a fencer. We are a county that invests in athletic programming, activities, and facilities, whether it be through our schools, the Department of Recreation, or in the Park and Planning Commission. Seeing such a diversity of individuals and sports represented from this county on the highest level of competition is one of the many positive results that come out of these investments. But for the biggest benefit of all is the county residents, and especially our children, always have the opportunities to learn any sport, hobby, and skill that they desire. And I wish all these outstanding athletes well, and we'll be pulling for all of them with ties to Montgomery throughout the Olympics. I also want to thank the county council for prioritizing rent stabilization in our area and finalizing regulations this week before they went on summer recess. This was really important. Every month's delay means another set of tenants have leases expiring and have rent increases that are typically far in excess of what the rent stabilization will allow. These regs will be enacted immediately. They apply to all buildings constructed more than 23 years ago, ensuring protection to many renters immediately and not leaving them vulnerable to price gouging and out of control rent hikes moving forward. They were well developed, publicly scrutinized. There was lots of input from both residents and from the business community. Much of that input found its way into the regulations. And, they balanced the needs of new housing construction because it's basically exempt from the regulations for 23 years. So it really focuses on some of the older buildings. But we're already seeing rent increases in excess of 25% or more that are unconscionable. They're occurring in buildings that would have been under rent stabilization. And so we're very eager to get this in place because nobody should be paying rent increases like that. I want to thank everyone who had a part in making that happen. The rent stabilization bills are actually important, and they do have a potential to change lives. I was on the Tacoma Park City Council. I represented a neighborhood that was about 80% tenant. When I moved there, it was the lowest income census tract with the highest percentage of single parent female headed households. So we had some of the lowest incomes in Montgomery County feeding the school. And I knew what rent stabilization meant to the kids. I mean, I not only saw them in school, but I saw them in the neighborhood. And I saw them, as a political person when I was campaigning or visiting, residents and visiting the apartments. I knew the impact that increases of 6% had on people. It was the difference in the number of bags of groceries on the table for families. People could tell you that with $60 more a month going to rent, that meant how many bags. Back then, it was probably 3 to 4 bags of groceries that they wouldn't be able to put on the table. It had serious impact on family budgets. And I could see the tangible relationship between large rents and what impacts they had on families with limited incomes. It will make a difference for families in apartments with rent stabilization. Hopefully people will see how it's working and we'll have opportunity in the future to expand and modify the law. But for now, this is a really important moment. We talk about a safer, healthier community. This is one of the things that helps make it possible. It will make a difference. Every dollar spent on rent makes it harder to feed your family, makes it harder to provide for childcare, makes it harder to provide just for any of the niceties of life that a lot of us take for granted, like a trip to a movie theater or a day downtown, taking your kids out to dinner. Those are things a lot of families never get to do. And so this is a really important legislation in my mind. And I appreciate the council that supported this. This Saturday and Sunday, going to the other end of the world, the 27th and 28th, it's the return of Montgomery County Farm Tour and Harvest Sale. There are 2 farms joining the tour for the first time, Deer Valley Farms in Dickerson and Coiner Farm in Silver Spring. Coiner is the first urban farm to be part of this special weekend, and I encourage you to use the Visit Montgomery Adventure Planner app, which you can get on our website, to plan your visit to any of the participating farms. The app's a helpful way of identifying the farms and suggesting unique experiences across the county without visiting multiple websites. Many years ago, county leaders designated a third of farmland as the agricultural reserve, and development limits were placed on 93,000 acres to keep residential, industrial, and commercial development from encroaching on farmland. The Ag Reserve is home to more than 550 farms, 80% of which are farms that produce food, enhancing our ability to enjoy locally produced crops and products. So before I open up for questions, I'll give my health team any opportunity they want for comment right now. And we'll be back to the question part.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive. The only real update is to let the community know that we are still seeing elevated levels of COVID transmission throughout the community. We're tracking on it. The hospitalizations appear to have ticked up a little bit across the state, but are holding steady in Montgomery County. And we're just, again, warning people to take precautions when they are in crowded public spaces, especially those who are at greater risk for serious illness. Wearing a mask in those settings can help prevent a transmission of COVID. So again, we've seen this elevation across the United States as well as our region, and just urging precautions to folks.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell. Members of the media, this is the time for questions. Please raise your hand. Any questions? Any questions today for the county executive? Kelly Lee, ABC7. Hi, good afternoon.
Hello. Today I'm working on a story just about the total cost of the Dr. Joel Beidelman case for Montgomery County, and it's being assessed that it costs about $2.3 million or even more than that. So I'm just wondering if Mr. Elrich would respond to that number and tell me what he thinks the key steps are going to be to prevent the county from going through something like this again.
I think the number is really irritating. I've got better uses for the money than to spend it on this case. And so I'm sad that we have to do this, but this is on the school system. They had warning signs for years about this. They have warning signs about other employees who were doing things. So he wasn't the only one. And the school system just ignored this stuff. And you can talk to the teachers union, they'll tell you the same thing. So you cannot pretend this stuff's not happening. You have to take this kind of harassment seriously, and you can't allow it. And hopefully the officials over there and the board get the message loud and clear that there's no more tolerating this kind of nonsense, and that people who do it are going to get removed from their positions. So I'm not a big believer in second chances on this. So,
do you think that MCPS needs its own office of the Inspector General to make sure that it's following its own policies and make sure that it's being responsible and transparent?
Well, if the stuff had come to the attention of our Inspector General or the state, somebody would have done something. We weren't totally paralyzed. And the fact that, they had letters they didn't share with anybody, they have a complaint for the unions, apparently, that goes back years. You can't fix not disclosing. And it'd be, if they've got their own IG, great, but the IG can't report to the institution. It certainly can't report to the administration. Our IG does not report to me. Our IG reports to the council. The IGs in both park and planning and the school, they should not report to the administrative body. They should report to somebody who is not the administration, if you want it to work the way you want it to work.
Who do you think they should report to?
You can either have them report to the school board, or you could combine this with the county's IG and have it report to our IG. Anything better than this?
Anything else that you want to add in terms of the current administration? Are you confident that we won't see this excessive spending and these kinds of problems with reporting, et cetera, under this new leadership?
Look, if you get these cases, you're going to have excessive spending. So, my hope is, and I think they get this loud and clear, if this amount of money doesn't wake up people to what the real cost of ignoring a problem is, I don't know what will. So I'm pretty sure new superintendent is well aware of this. And, I have confidence that this is not going to be a repeat of the past, and that people will get the attention they're supposed to get.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kelly. Members of the media, any other questions today for the county executive or Mr. O'Donnell? No more questions today? Okay, I guess we're done for today. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Stay safe. Have a great afternoon. Number 1, Silver Spring, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you all very much for being here. Take care.